For more than a decade, my next guest, former congressional candidate Jesse Mermell and attorney Rosina-Maria Lucibello, weren't much more than friends on Facebook. But last fall, when Jesse was scrolling through her feed and happened upon a post from Rosina, that all began to change. It was titled simply, "Rosina Needs a Kidney." And last month, after a long stretch of tests and preparations, Jesse gave her one. Now, after a few weeks of recovery, they both join me, Jesse Mermell, Rosina-Maria Lucibello. It's great to see you both. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Jim.
Great to see you.
Rosina, how'd you meet Jesse?
I met Jesse through our political activism over the years, and I think I recently was just reminiscing about the first time I met her. Was at an event and was just always impressed with her and respected her, and that's why we just kept in touch all these years.
So you post, when I read it, I'm almost incredulous. You go on Facebook and you post, "Rosina needs a kidney," which you did. How sick were you when you posted that?
I was pretty sick. I've had chronic kidney disease for 8 years. In the fall of 2020, my condition had worsened very quickly. I knew that I was going to have to go on dialysis. I did so in January of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I then was already on the transplant list at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, but I knew that looking for a living kidney donor would be beneficial to my long-term success. And what did I have to lose? Put it out there and see if anybody would be interested.
Okay, enter Jesse Mermell. So I read, Jesse, your response to why'd you do this, it seemed like the obvious thing to do. Why was it the obvious thing to do, Jesse?
Jim, I wish I had some sort of poetic answer to that question. All I can tell you is that sitting on the couch sometime last fall, probably Halloween-ish, and seeing Rosina's post, and she needed a kidney and she needed someone with type A blood. Mm-hmm. And I have type A blood and, my friends would joke, type A personality. And I looked at that and thought, well, that's me. I guess I could help. And I sort of marinated on it for a few days and filled out the form. So, I wish I could tell you that, the skies parted, a lightning bolt hit me. It seemed so obvious. It was so much simpler than that.
So you give her a call, is that correct? And what do you say to her? I mean, what was that like? What'd you say, Jesse?
So I had told Rosina a little ways into the process, because it's anonymous if you want it to be,
right?
That I was participating in this. And so we started keeping each other posted. She would have a test, I would have a test, letting her know how things were going. I needed a mammogram to go through this because I just turned 40 and needed to have that. Rosina's actually the one who helped me get an appointment to move the process along. So it sort of became this collaboration. And eventually the transplant panel at Beth Israel had approved us, and my coordinator called me to ask if I wanted to be the one to call Rosina. And of course I said yes. And I was in the living room pacing back and forth, and I called, and Rosina was in the pet store. And the radio was so loud in the background that I had to repeat myself a few times. And I asked her if she wanted a kidney. I mean, again, I wish I could be more poetic than that, but it was pretty straightforward. And soon we're both crying, me in the living room, Rosina in the pet store. And here we are many months later.
It's pretty poetic to me. How are you feeling, both of you? Rosina first, how's your health?
I'm doing well. My transplant team at Beth Israel are very pleased with my progress. Today is actually exactly 3 weeks since our surgeries. Uh-huh. So all is looking well. I do have a full year ahead of, making sure that my anti-rejection medications are properly, tweaked and things like that. But I'm feeling wonderful, and I'm feeling extremely blessed.
Am I told there's a rumor you named her kidney that is now your kidney? Is that correct or not?
Well, Jesse's wonderful mother, Jesse Mermell, she carried that kidney for 9 months, and she had the honor of naming the kidney Rena appropriately.
And Jesse, are you well? You look well. You're well, yes?
I am. My surgery was much less intense. than Rosina's. So I have a shorter path here, but I'm not in any pain, little mild discomfort around some incisions and slowly getting my strength and energy back. But all things considered, I feel really great. I feel so grateful to have been able to do this. And a huge shout out to the transplant team at Beth Israel for everything they've done for both of us. I can't say enough good things about how phenomenal they've been.
Rosina, how weird is it to have a piece of her body in yours? I just can't get my head around that at all.
You know, it's a good question. At first, it is a little strange to think about it. I guess, you know, my thinking was this woman has graciously given me a piece of her body to help me live a second life. And this is essentially what Jesse has given me, is another life and a new wonderful life. But once it's in there and it's working and it's just this, you just think of it as a tremendous gift and a blessing. And so the weirdness kind of goes away really quickly.
And quickly, Jesse, what does it feel like to have I don't know if I even call it your kidney anymore. What was your kidney in her?
I can't think of a better person to carry it for the next many, many, many years. Yeah, same thing as Rosina. It's a little weird when you think about it at first, but that goes away when you think about the incredible things that can come from the gift of donation.
We only have a minute.
I know Rosina's going to do great things with Rena.
We only have a minute left. Starting with you, Jesse. Are you different? Does this change you in any way?
I don't know that I feel fundamentally different, but I do feel so much better educated about donation, about how thoroughly prepared and thoughtful it is on both sides, the recipient and the donor. And I feel changed in my advocacy and my commitment to raising awareness about the importance of donation and the need for it, not just for kidneys, but for so many other organs.
Has it changed you other than physically, Rosina?
Oh, well, sure. I mean, it's a tremendous blessing, Jim. I just, you know, it's at times it could be overwhelming. And the only way I can really process this properly is to give back. And like Jesse said, advocate. We already have been receiving messages from people asking for our help, which is wonderful. But a little side note, one funny thing though is I have never really been a big ice cream person. But ever since I have Jesse's kidney, and as many people know, Jesse is an ice cream enthusiast, I have been craving some ice cream.
Well, can I tell you, this is one of the best stories of the year, and congratulations to both of you. It's a thrill to talk to you, and I'm so glad you're well. Rosina, Jesse, talk to you soon. Stay well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Thanks, Jim.